Okay, hi everyone. It's so great to be here. So last week I was speaking to a brand owner, and they had come off of these sort of rounds of investor calls. And do you know the question that they were continually asked? Who is your ideal customer profile? Right? And this is fascinating because I come from tech. I come from like big tech, Adobe, Qualtrics. Every investor pitch deck from sort of like Series A through Series D, investors want to know. They want to know who your ideal customer profile is because they want to know your SAM and they want to know your TAM. They want to know how high your ceiling is. And more importantly, they want to know when you're going to run out of customers to sell to. Like, this is an important question for investors. And we've gone through this exercise many times. Ideal customer profile, target audience. Like, how many of your marketing teams have run you through an exercise like this? A couple of you? Yeah? Again, user personas, buyer personas. It helps you best target the people that are best fit for your brand. And it helps you not waste resources on people that may not fit your brand and may not be with you long term. So again, as a marketing leader, I have made many teams go through this exercise with me, and it most likely looks something like this. Yes? Persona cards. They're a little bit focused on demographics, right? And sometimes these persona cards have funny names, like Go-Getter Gary and Busy Bonnie and Tech Savvy Ted, right? We're gonna call this one Juggling Jen or Just Getting By Jen. So demographics. Jen is an elder millennial, okay? The youngest millennials were born in 1996, so they're just a couple of years away from hitting 30. Whereas us elder millennials, we are already worried. We have been worried about what time and gravity are doing to our bodies. Jen lives in Salt Lake City, so her skin and hair are constantly ravaged by the dry desert climate and the unrelenting sun. Jen is a marketing executive at a tech company, a very busy tech company, so she's a little haggard. And Jen is a mom. She's a mom to a very moody teenager who has an equally busy schedule as she does, minus the ability to drive herself anywhere. So Jen spends a lot of time in the car. You're like, when is this woman gonna stop talking third person? It's me, this is me. And the older I get, the less time I have. Time by far is my most precious resource, which means I am fanatical about my routine. My routine is sort of the last anchor that I have at the end of the day. Because I want all of the moments of luxury, I want all of the joy, I want all of the convenience, all as dependably and consistently as possible, right? I want the best for the least amount of effort. Like, is that too much to ask? Bottom line, I am busy, I am bougie, and I hold purchasing power for my household. Like, woo! Like, you think my husband cares about what kind of toilet paper we have at home? No, he's equally busy, but he's not quite as bougie. So of course I want cat litter that is lightweight and less damaging to my cats and alerts me of potential health issues in my cats, right? I care about my cats. Of course I want ceremonial grade matcha because coffee makes me jittery, and I am too grown for jitters at this point in my life. And of course I want skincare on the go because, again, aforementioned, I am in my car constantly. So sometimes I've got to do my skincare in my car to make it work. I'm a consumer. I love a good product. And I love a good product because of the brand promise, right? I'm not buying products. I'm buying better skin, healthy cats. I'm buying ease in my day. I'm buying less stress in my day. I'm buying ashwagandha because I want to feel calm when I'm on stage talking in front of all these people. I love a brand promise. In fact, it doesn't take much to acquire me as a customer. Like, you can just target me with a good Instagram ad that has some compelling stat or some influencer backing, and like, chances are I'm gonna try it. But the question is, will I renew? Will I buy again? Will I subscribe? Will I add this to my routine? I don't know, because I am also fickle. I am fickle. I am fickle as hell. I am busy, and I am bougie, and I am fickle. So will I buy again? I don't know, when my TikTok looks like this. These are actual screenshots of my TikTok. And my Instagram looks like this. Instagram has definitely gotten a hold of that persona card for me. They know exactly what I need. And my YouTube which I watched this morning, looks like this, right? Build the best health and wellness routine, build the best skincare routine, wake up at 4 a.m., here's why. I am constantly chasing the dragon. I am constantly chasing what's gonna get me to my goals as quickly and conveniently as possible. You know, millennials also experience great amounts of FOMO, fear of missing out. 70% of millennials experience FOMO. This idea of FOMO and sort of this experiential society we live in drives millennials to show up. It drives us to engage. It drives us to buy. And this fear of missing out had a crazy chokehold on me last year. In the last year, I have tried 9 different sunscreens. I have tweaked my skincare routine 14 different times. I have switched from tea to coffee in cubes to matcha, and now I'm back to tea. I have tried truly every protein vehicle out there. I've tried the cookies, I've tried the chips, I've tried the Pop-Tarts. If anyone has recommendations for me, please, God, I need them, because I haven't found something that I like. Supplements. Supplements are my new thing, because this is like the epitome of convenience, right? Just something quick in the morning to solve all of my problems. I've tried 5 different meal plan services, and well, I've tried 2 different cat litters, because once you find a cat litter you like, you kind of stick with it, you know? That's not really a dragon I'm trying to chase. So let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about the difference between a product that is bought versus a product that is kept, okay? There's absolutely a difference between the products that are on the top shelf of my bathroom and the products that are underneath in the bottom drawer. I want you all to kind of think for a second. Like, close your eyes, think about your bathroom at home. What are the products within reach for you, right? And what are the products that are like underneath the sink next to toilet bowl cleaner? That is the difference between a product that is a nice to have and a product that is a need to have. And the difference between a product that is bought and kept is your ability to understand, adapt, and take action on the routine economy. So let's take a step back for a second. Let's talk about where we're at right now. What has happened over the last couple of years? All of a sudden, the 40-year-old millennial and the 24-year-old Gen Z are in charge. They're in charge in spending and influence in the economy. Millennials have become the economic driving force of America. They are the largest generation. They represent the biggest percentage of the country's workforce, and they hold the most purchasing power. In 2019, millennials surpassed baby boomers as the largest generation, and this had the attention of marketers everywhere. Right? We had to fundamentally change the way we went to market for millennials because it was so different than baby boomers, right? And I'm finding this to be a fascinating 2 sides of one coin, millennials and Gen Z. Gen Z, don't come for me. But there's some similarities. So first, in the economy, the perception of millennials has sometimes been a little bit off. Like, I remember during COVID, everyone was like, millennials, don't go out and drink. It's like, I'm not drinking. I'm at home taking care of my plants. Like, millennials are now solidly considered middle-aged. I know everyone's like, we do not like that at all. Please stop talking. But the collective, their spending power, millennial spending power is undeniable. The collective annual income of 1.8 billion millennials is $2.5 trillion, and it's expected to reach $4 trillion by 2030. Whereas Gen Z, they control spending influence. Right? A decade before they replaced millennials as the largest spenders, they're seen as the tastemakers. This is a role that every generation has assumed at this point. Like, I remember when this was us, RIP, now we're chuggy. But millennials really understand and take ownership over spending power. Gen Z tell us what to buy. Now, in terms of what they value, growing up and being early adopters of social media, they both value experiences. This idea of social media worthy moments has driven us to really focus and care about experiences. Millennials value ease and experience. They value consistency, whereas Gen Z really value niche products and hard to find products. They really value authenticity in brands. They want bang for their buck. They want sustainability. In terms of their expectations, both really value, again, oh, so sorry, I switched these up. Parents and kids. So first of all, millennials have a lot of responsibilities. Millennials are now in their sandwich era. So they are focused on taking care of themselves, raising children, as well as taking care of aging parents, right? Whereas a 2022 survey had Gen Z surveyed, they spend an average of $2,000 a year on their pets. This was more than any generation surveyed. So both of these generations have responsibilities at home. They expect a lot out of their experiences. And their expectations are, again, consistency, where the Gen Z are prioritizing more variety. Now, the overall disposition of these two groups, what do we think? It's anxiety all around. It's anxiety all around. Financial anxiety, so the anxiety of sort of being a millennial and entering the workforce during a recession, paying, 100% more on houses than the generation before us. We are entering the world with a certain amount of anxiety. 81% of millennials and 75% of Gen Z report to having experienced financial anxiety. An American Psychological Association survey found that 61% of millennials and 51% of Gen Z experience workplace stress. And so both of these generations are entering the world with a huge amount of anxiety, lots of responsibilities, and they still want to be bougie. They still want to live life to the fullest. They still want experiences. Now, this anxiety is key. This anxiety is key. This anxiety often leads to impulse spending behaviors. Right, with 52% of millennials and 44% of Gen Z admitting to making impulse purchases to alleviate stress. So both of these two generations really converge on their spending habits. For younger generations, goals like saving for a house, these saving up for retirement, these financial goals can seem so out of reach. With rising housing costs, rising interest rates, and rising costs to do literally anything, has led to millennials to doom spend to cope. Whereas Gen Z are facing a certain amount of disenchantment in society and capitalism as a whole. Their penchant for splurging comes from this desire to live life to the fullest. They prioritize personal enjoyment over traditional markers of success, and they indulge in luxury as a means of self-expression, right? And they've adopted this mentality of like, well, what really matters anyway? Right? They buy the cute bottle, even though it's more expensive, because it brings joy in their day. I do this. I'm guilty of this. I love good packaging. So, the world is disenchanting, increasingly expensive and anxiety-inducing, and these two groups are choosing to spend money on small luxuries that elevate their everyday. Now, this is little treat culture, you know? Like, I went to the grocery store. I deserve a little treat. I did my taxes. I'm going to spend $9 on a tiny matcha at Starbucks that's mostly ice as a little treat. And we see this across all of social media, right? Little treat culture is everywhere. This is this little life, romanticizing my life. This is even girl dinner. This is, I can control what I can control and make my everyday better because I can't control some of the larger things. So what this means is that the economy is yet again changing. The fabric of economic value is changing. So you all know this. We started in goods and services economy, right? This is actually the rise of D2C brands. D2C brands needed to avoid commoditization. We know this. The internet was the largest driving force of commoditization, right? When you could sort of compare products to products immediately, it drove everyone to care about three things and three things only: price, price, and price. So in this world of differentiating just based on price, D2C brands rose up to disrupt that, and they prioritized end-to-end experience. They prioritized brand equity with their audience, and they could suddenly target audiences where they were. But then we all went to the attention economy, right? The next phase, so what ended up happening were brands targeted people where they were, which was digital and online. This proliferation of online content allowed brands, again, to create these one-to-one relationships. But then, so many companies propped up, so many brands propped up, and all of a sudden, attention also became commoditized. Attention became the scarcest commodity in the economy. There just wasn't enough attention to go around. ChatGPT gave me this. To compete effectively in the attention economy, D2C brands must adopt innovative marketing strategies that resonate with their target audience. Thanks, ChatGPT. Brilliant, as always. What they left out, though, is that this was going to cost. This was going to be expensive. If you wanted to compete in the attention economy, it was going to cost you. You know this. You've seen your acquisition costs. I feel so badly for all these sunscreen brands that spent so much on me in acquisition, only to have me not even finish the bottle before I'm on to the next craze. Now it's time to move to a new level of economic value. Evolve or perish. To truly disrupt the economy, you must figure out how to cement yourself in the daily lives of your consumers and stay there. There we go. So every level of economic disruption has been difficult. Commoditization, attention economy, routine economy. But I want to let you in on a little secret. People fucking care about their routine, right? Like, how many of you are Huberman Labs listeners? Huberman dads, is that what it's called? I'm a Huberman dad. There's this funny kind of, I just read The Drive by Peter Attia as well, or I listened to his podcast. What was his book? Outlive. Okay, and there's this sort of joke amongst these health and wellness gurus. They know that you just want the protocols. They know you want the tactics. They know you just want the step-by-step, but they're gonna make you listen to like an hour and a half of science first. Because they know, people wanna know. They wanna know whether to cold plunge. They wanna know what supplements to take. They wanna know it as quickly and easily as possible because people care about their routine. And you think about this, routine is so important to our day-to-day lives. It is the invisible scaffolding that sets us up for success. It's how we as society manage all the decisions we have to make in a day and to simplify and to get all the things that we want out of life. There we go. So, what are some ways you can leverage the routine economy to become integral in your consumers' daily lives? So first, product diversification. I love this one. This is my favorite one. What better way to own somebody's routine or to be part of somebody's routine than to own all of their routine? This is exactly what tech did, by the way. Tech started as sort of like one type of thing for one type of customer and then started eating up more pieces of the workflow. I did a brief stint at a dental software company. Dentists aren't super fun to work with, but we had started with appointment reminders for dentists. Then they started doing online forms and they started doing payments. Right? This is such a great way to cement yourselves into routines is just by owning more pieces of this. And I love this example. We work with a brand called Barefaced, and they're multi-product already. They have a hero product. They're toning pads. They're dope, in case anyone was curious. They're amazing, and they make everything else better. So all of a sudden, I'm subscribed to their toning pads. 2 months go by, like, this is a loyal customer. Are you interested in a vitamin C serum? Hell yes, I am. Hell yes, I am. I'm going to add that to part of my routine. So it's a great way to figure out what your tip of the spear product is and then start slowly eating up more pieces of the routine. If you don't have multi-product or you don't necessarily have a replenishable, get a replenishable. I think Tushy does a great job at this as well. Like, how many times do you buy a bidet? Probably not super often. But they do toilet paper and they do toilet spray and they do candles. Right? It's such a great opportunity for you. If you're not a replenishable, figure out what you could do to be part of somebody's routine every day. There we go. Next, define and own your category. Casper's my favorite example of this because how many times do you buy a mattress in your life? It's part of your routine, but it's not really something that you're buying all the time. So they have changed from being a mattress company to a sleep company. This is the category that they're eating is my sleep routine. So all of a sudden I buy the mattress and I also buy the glow light and I also buy the pet bed and I also buy their cooling sheets because I get hot at night, right? Suddenly I'm thinking about Casper in the context of my personal routine, in the context of my personal sleep routine. So this is huge. Figure out what your category is. Either choose to dominate your category that's already there or create a new one. Create a new category around what you want to own. Product positioning. This is my favorite thing to talk about. So if anyone wants to talk about this, come find me. I love it. My background is product marketing. So product positioning is how well consumers can see themselves in your brand. It's the difference between what you do versus what you do for them. So let's talk about product positioning. Let's orient around what this is. Let's look at Lulu, a brand I work with all the time. Women's clothing. So you go to their product dropdown and you can suddenly search based off of women's clothing. This assumes that the consumer knows what they're looking for. And they would assume right, because I am looking for leggings almost always. You select leggings, you go down, but what ends up happening with this type of product positioning, which I call feature selling, You have to compete and you have to prove why that product is better than anything else, right? If I'm looking for leggings, Lulu finally has to say, okay, well, our Align fabric is better than Sculpt Flex from Set Active, which it is way better. But this assumes that you have to get into this sort of feature battle by selling why your leggings are better than others. Or you could position your products within the goals and challenges of your consumer, like Lulu has done here. I can now search Lulu's products based off of what I want to do. Do I want to run? Do I want to work out? Do I want to travel? If they were smart, they would put pickleball up here as well. Next, build in dopamine hits, right? The things that are expected in my life, how much more fun would it be if you made that delightful, right? For consistent-driven millennials like me and niche-driven Gen Z, this is gold. How to make something that is predictable and safe and part of their routine fun, right? How can my toilet paper delivery every month be delightful? How can you add something in there? I got this from Matt Holman. He's an influencer in the space. Develop your next product as a subscriber perk. Like, what a great way to sort of reward your most loyal customers and do some product development in the same time. Like, figure out how to create something delightful for your subscribers, and what a safe landing spot to test a new product for people that already love you and people that already are loyal to your brand. But above all those tactics, in order to win in the routine economy, you must sit at the intersection of convenience and value. Because remember, we are bougie and we are busy, right? You have to figure out how to remove, if you want to remove friction in my day, you have to remove friction between me and your products. And subscriptions, at their core, really do this, right? They help me automate my day. They help take out decisions in my day. The Gorgias integration, also a great example. Shout out. We have to make millions of decisions in a day. How can you make that simpler? Now, subscriptions on their own are a little bit set it and forget it. Traditional subscriptions, right? Like, we want to make something nice and easy and convenient. We want to offer a discount. We want to make this seamless for you. But it's not distinctive of a truly compelling experience that stays part of my routine. Your customer experience should drive routines. Your subscription strategy should drive routines. Your product strategy and your product positioning should drive routines. It should drive being part of somebody's everyday life. By providing subscription experiences that drive through the entire customer experience through conversion, growth, and retention. By layering in things like we've talked about, personalization. Like, you have to know things about me to engage me in ways that matter. You have to know how many times I'm purchasing products. You have to know if I'm a bargain hunter or not. You have to know how much I've spent with your brand to be able to engage me. And by building in things like rewards and smart cancellation prevention and gentle encouragement and nudges along the way to keep me part of your brand. So your brand promise at the end of the day relies on routine. So let's all help millennials stay bougie and busy by providing customer experiences that drive routines. Thank you.